Hello, my name is Jared Goutsmit. I'm a sophomore at Kirkwood High School, and this is Making a Low Budget Movie, the Low Budget Movie. Eli, Sam, Robin, and I, the main people who make up Last Minute Productions, have been making films for a good long while now. I started back in 8th grade, really, and so I thought I might share some tips and tricks with you if you're interested in making a film yourself. Now, we've gone a long way since our first film, The Ethicist, which we filmed primarily on iPads, which was quite the experience. Now, I'm glad we used the iPads for that film. After all, we were just trying to piece the thing together for our first time. But if you're really going for a more professional look, if you really wanted to have that real film quality, you're going to want to use some equipment. Now, you've got the basic tripod, which pretty much everyone knows about. It's just you got the space for the camera on top, which you just sort of clamp right in there. You have the tripod legs themselves, which can be somewhat difficult to detach. Give me a moment. There it is. It gives the film a professional quality if you really need a good landscape shot, or if you really need focus on one person's face, if you need to make sure that there's no movement, there's no distractions to the shot. So if you really want a strong, powerful, straightforward kind of shot, then tripod's good for you. There's also this thing called a unipod, which is like a tripod, but only one leg. It's not perfectly stable, because it's only got the one, but it minimizes shaking so that the camera angle still feels natural, still has that natural sway, without being blurry in how handheld it is. We used a unipod for arena warfare. We used it for a lot of the shots where, in this fight sequence, characters were standing around glaring at each other. And we used the unipod to really highlight on their faces without cutting to a weird, out-of-place, perfectly still tripod shot. We kept that natural balance and handheldness with a unipod, but I do not have it with me, so I cannot demonstrate. Sorry about that. Now, handheld shots, shots where you're just holding the camera with your hands, no equipment at all, are generally associated with being amateur, but they can actually be used in a really artistic manner. We used handheld shots a lot in silence in an attempt to capture the emotion of the main character. People tend to associate more with a character who's shot with a shakier camera because it feels as if you're really standing there in front of them. So handheld shots can actually be a very valuable tool if you use them correctly. We have done aerial shots before. We've never used a real deal filming drone, but we have used a quadcopter in arena warfare. And it was very technically difficult, but I think it was worth it in the end because we got a little taste of what could be to come, and we got experience working with some of the more difficult equipment. And it helped the overall product look a lot more technically advanced, which was an overall impressive look. Lastly, you have the pan, which I must admit is my personal favorite. It's a very simple, smooth glide, and in my opinion, very underrated. We used them all the time in The Goddaughter. The main character of The Goddaughter, Linda, is a sort of anti-hero. We didn't want audiences to like her or want to be at all like her. We just wanted them to recognize that she was the main character and recognize that she is the one they're supposed to be rooting for. So we didn't want a cold, still tripod shot, but we didn't want a shot that made her too relatable, put her in too positive a light like a handheld shot. So we used the pan shot to simply separate the camera by moving independently of any of the characters. But I'm going too in-depth. Let's talk about some other elements, sound and lighting. Most all cameras do have microphones in them, but they're usually not the highest quality. So if you really want that professional element, you can get a microphone or borrow it from someone. People do have these. With most of them, you just plug it right into the camera. This one's a Rode. It's my personal favorite. For lighting equipment, we like to use a Selens reflector, which is basically a fabric mirror that will shine light onto the subject of your film. Let's see. It's pretty large. We use the reflector in film in the same way that in the theater people will use a spotlight. If we want to highlight a specific character, we'll shine the light directly on them. And you'd think it would be a very obvious circle, but in reality it's just a very nice, warm or cool light depending on which color you pick. With this particular reflector, we can choose a black, which actually does reflect some of the light, but it's very, very dim, so that it's a very subtle addition. The traditional silver backing. If you want a warm light, you can have the gold backing, and then the more photo shoot style, a translucent white that you can use to really cast a nice, even glow across your subject. And then, of course, we have the green screen, which you can see behind me. Of course, with green screens, the trick is don't have any creases, or else they'll be seen in the final product of the film. So there you have it. My ramblings are complete. If you're interested in making a film, then feel free to talk to me or ask some of the members of the film club, which was established at Kirkwood High School earlier this year. And if by any chance you are interested in screenwriting, if you're interested in writing a script, then please talk to me, because we are interested in creating some new films and we need ideas. So let us know. See y'all.